From Joker to now the living vampire. Will Jared Leto finally be embraced in the comic book world? Let's talk about it. Hello, welcome to Nerd News. I'm your host, Chris Chavez. Will you come in? That was a weird opening. I promise I won't do that one again. But hello, everyone. Welcome to another rousing episode of Nerd News with your host, Chris Chavez. That's right. This is a show that's created for nerds by a nerd. And today is trailer review day. Hey. And we're going to review Sony / Marvel's new blood-sucking film, Morbius. I should have been more creepy with that one. Let's try that again. Morbius. But if this is your first time here, please hit the like, the subscribe, the little notification bell. That notification bell will do two things. It'll notify you of all future episodes, and it'll also disperse garlic in case vampires attack you. You're welcome, I saved your life. So I was actually debating on whether I should do this video or not. The trailer came out, I was really curious about the movie, but Morbius is a very obscure character, and unless you've read the comics, you have no idea who the heck I'm talking about. But then after I watched the trailer, the ending of the trailer showed a couple of cameos, and instantly I went, yeah, I gotta do a video on this. And before we go any further, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, I'll have it attached to the description below so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. But the two Easter eggs that happen are at the end of the trailer, and let's just talk about them right off the bat, shall we? Now, the first Easter egg shows Morbius walking down a alleyway, and in the background you see a graffitied Spider-Man with the word murderer written across it. Murderer because, it was claimed that he killed Mysterio. And the second Easter egg, that's not two, that's three. And the second Easter egg is when Morbius is walking down this path and he comes across Michael Keaton. That's right, the Vulture. So this is connected to the MCU's Spider-Man somehow, and I have no idea how they're going to do it. And when the trailer does start, they really want you to know that this is the studio that made Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, which is funny because that's not all entirely true. You see, the character Morbius is owned by Sony, and in turn, Spider-Man is still on loan with Marvel. You know, they gave Spider-Man back to Marvel for one full movie, and a cameo was in the deal before they bring him back to Sony. And man, I'm already concerned with that whole bucket of worms, because I mean, the first time they were like, Spider-Man's leaving the MCU, everyone lost their minds. But back to Morbius. So Jared Leto is back in the superhero genre. And the last time that we saw Jared Leto, like I said in the opening, he was playing a weird interpretation of the Joker in Suicide Squad. And I really do like Jared Leto as an actor. Dallas Buyers Club is fantastic. Requiem for a Dream was just amazing and very hard to watch, by the way. But his take on the Clown Prince was, well, it was a choice. You know, actors make an acting choice of like, no, this is how I think the character should be, and well, he made a choice, didn't he? But this time around, he's trading in the makeup for fangs. And watching him in this trailer, he looks more relaxed. It looks like he's more in tune with this character than he was with the Joker. I mean, it felt like he was trying a little too hard when he was portraying the Joker. It was like he was trying to outdo Heath Ledger. But I mean, how do you mentally take on a role that the person that did the role before you was that fantastic? So I mean, there had been a mound of pressure on him to play the Joker. And like I mentioned before, Morbius is a very obscure character. So let me explain to you the plot of this movie so you know what we're talking about. So the movie is about a biochemist, Michael Morbius, who has a rare blood disease, and his pretty much adventure, his quest to cure said blood disease. But he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism. So, it happens. I mean, it's a simple mistake. I'm sure it happened on Grey's Anatomy, a few times, the wrong blood transfusion, and I want to suck your blood, blah. But throughout the trailer, it reminded me of a mix-up between Batman Begins and Blade. Now, this trailer goes on and it shows his rough time as a child with his rare disease. It cripples the way he walks. he gets beat up, he gets abused, and then it kind of transforms and it shows him when he's an adult and he's a Nobel Prize winner for his work as a doctor. Now, my only concern with this movie, watching from the trailer, just from this first trailer, is they're going to lose the horror element that this movie so desperately needs and kind of wants to be. Now, some of the shots in this trailer really does capsulize a good horror movie. Just a simple, slasher kind of horror movie. I mean, even the way that they color corrected the movie, it goes from like this gray to this blue to this kind of tan, dull, kind of cold, distant feel in the trailer, and that gives you that feeling of like, something's not right with this. But as the trailer goes on, when you see him, learn his new powers, it kind of shifts and you kind of lose that horror element and you lose that cold, distant feel from the color correction. And that's the only thing I'm worried about, is that it'll start horror and then it'll go into like, I'll be able to save the day and drink your blood. Now, I could be wrong and it could be just a creepy movie altogether, which I hope so, but that's just my concern about this flick. But this was just a short video. I just wanted to do a little rundown of what I thought of Morbius. And the thing about this trailer is I don't know how they're going to fit this in with the MCU. A lot of people are saying he's going to be a part of the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six is 6 really powerful villains in the Spider-Man universe that go up against Spider-Man. So it certainly looks that way with Michael Keaton showing up. And also in the comic books, Morbius is often hunted by In the comics, Morbius is often hunted by Blade. So we know Blade's happening with Mahershala Ali at 2021, I think it's coming out. So that is definitely a possibility. So Jared Leto could be this character for a while. But what did you think of this coffin sleeping, blood sucking, bat flying, he doesn't turn into a bat, trailer? But let me know in the comments below. I love seeing what you guys write. Makes me feel happy in my heart. And guys, if you love my show, please check out my social media accounts. They're on Instagram and Twitter. I update those daily so you'll know what's going on in the entertainment world. Yeah. And until next time, guys, remember, vampires are people too. Just because you can't see the reflection, they drink blood and they sleep in a coffin, doesn't mean that they don't have feelings on the inside.